Hey, what's up guys? Me again, Panspin Ghost Adventure. So ngayon guys, meron naman tayong panoorin. Ito ay kay Fair Fuels na sobrang nakatakot din yung kanyang video guys. Kaya samahan niyo ako. Panoorin natin itong Fair Fuels. Subscribe nyo guys, Fair Fuels, at pati rin sa akin, Panspin Ghost Adventure. So ito ay mga ghost hunter na naka salungat ng mga hindi kanais na mga encounter guys. Kaya guys, mag-ingat tayo guys sa pag-explore no, dahil ito ay delikado sa atin guys ng mga ghost hunter. So yun, ito papatagan niya ba guys, let's go.
July of 2023, a British YouTuber named Andrew uploaded a terrifying video titled "The Scariest Video I've Ever Recorded" to his channel, Proving Demons. Andrew's channel primarily focuses on paranormal investigation, and he often documents footage of his adventures exploring various haunted and abandoned locations across the United Kingdom. In this particular video, Andrew, along with a few of his friends, decided to investigate an abandoned haunted house situated somewhere in England. As the explorers began their video, they drove for almost 30 minutes to locate the abandoned facility. They then parked their car near the road and continued the rest of the journey on foot. After walking for a while, they eventually arrived at the haunted building. Once inside, the explorers immediately mentioned that they were already on edge and noted that the building had a very eerie atmosphere. Nonetheless, they hoped for the best and eventually got back to their investigation. During the initial minutes of their investigation, they cautiously moved through the building, searching to see if anyone was currently inside. Fortunately for the explorers, they didn't hear or see anything unusual during this time. They then decided to conduct a test using the ghost hunting equipment that they had brought. During their test, they did get some readings, but nothing too conclusive to indicate that the building was haunted. The explorers then decided to leave that floor and conduct the test on the upper levels. However, as they were conducting the test, that's when they made a chilling discovery.
I don't like that. Can we also address the giggling? Like, I'm 99% sure that's actual people outside.
We literally got.
So guys, ganun lang narinig dito no.
Somebody's here.
Kaya guys, madalik lang umalis.
Alright, somebody's here. Oh, great.
Yun guys no.
Come on, you guys, me and Alex up front. Wait. Hold up, let me put some stuff away. Move back for a second so I can put my stuff away.
No?
Careful.
Yun. Baka nandun dyan.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
After hearing the loud bangs, the explorers, startled by the commotion, immediately started walking away from the noises. As they retreated, they heard even more noises coming from the same direction. Recognizing the potential danger that they were in, they ultimately decided to leave the building and began walking down the stairs. However, as they were approaching the exit, that's when they encountered something extremely disturbing.
This is the way out.
Grabe yung sa likod. Parang ano guys, maliblib. Yung dinadanan na guys, sobrang maliblib.
Find an exit, just go.
Oh.
Find an exit.
Ano sir? Grabe yung mga ghost hunter, no?
No, that's the way out.
After repeatedly hearing loud banging noises, the explorers immediately ran out of the building. However, even after leaving, they couldn't find a proper route back to their car. For the next several minutes, they struggled to navigate their way out of the property, and every time they found a path, they would either get stuck or end up getting lost in a dense maze of bushes. Disturbingly, the loud bangs continued and grew closer, and it seemed as if whoever was inside was actively searching for them. As a result, their only option now was to keep hiding behind the bushes and hope that the individual wouldn't find them.
Bulbid talaga yung, guys, paligid.
That ain't the way out.
Patay kayo dyan. Hindi na kayo makalabas ng buhay dyan.
Stop panicking. Here we go. What? Doesn't matter, dude.
Yung guys, pinagtang ng ilaw ko. Alam mo, hindi sila makita.
There's lights over there. Get down the light box. What'd they say? What did he say? He's gonna do something bad over here.
By this point, the explorers had been hiding behind the bushes for almost 20 minutes, and Andrew stopped recording at some point as his sole focus was to escape the situation. Although he didn't capture this on camera, he later mentioned that they ran back inside the building, as the only exit they knew was the one they had initially entered from. However, when they got to the building, they saw 3 armed men chasing them. The explorers, driven by pure survival instinct, continued to run back to the car, all while the men pursued them. Fortunately for the explorers, they made it back to their car just in time and immediately drove off. They later called the police and mentioned everything they had witnessed within the building. The cops eventually arrived at the location and went after the armed men. When Andrew got home, he mentioned that this was one of the scariest things he had ever encountered. And he also noted that they were extremely fortunate that night to have escaped the potentially life-threatening situation with only a few minor scratches and injuries.
So GH15 is a camera. Oh my god, blue lights.
Yeah. They're on a mission, so they're getting the gun team and everything.
Yeah, they've already got a firing spot there and dogs. And we've got a dog, yeah.
If you've enjoyed the video so far, it would mean a lot if you considered
paano to guys,
subscribing. Over
course,
95% of
notes
you
nito
watching
guys, sorry
haven't
guys,
subscribed
course
yet.
notes
Your
ito.
support really
So,
helps the
kami guys,
channel grow,
course
and in
notes.
return, I
Mali,
promise to
mali
keep
pala
bringing you
ako.
guys the best quality content. Now let's get back to the video. In February of 2024, a German YouTuber named Felix uploaded a rather disturbing video titled Exploring an Abandoned Hotel in Italy to his channel, Adventure Buddy. Felix's channel is dedicated to urban exploration, and for almost a decade he's been documenting footage of his adventures exploring various abandoned locations around the world. In this particular video, Felix, along with 2 of his friends, decided to explore an abandoned luxury hotel located somewhere in Italy. According to Felix, the hotel was abandoned sometime between the early and mid-2000s. Since its abandonment, the building has unfortunately become a haven for squatters and homeless individuals. But the explorers remained undeterred and set out to explore the abandoned hotel. As they began their exploration and entered the building, they immediately noted that the hotel, despite being abandoned for decades, was in a relatively good condition, suggesting it had fortunately not been vandalized by looters or squatters. As they explored further, they discovered an indoor swimming pool, a massage parlor, and even a sauna. Fascinated by their discoveries, the explorers continued their exploration. For almost the next 10 minutes, the explorers moved from one side of the building to another, and everything up to this point seemed to be going quite smoothly for them, as they didn't hear or see anything that indicated anyone was currently inside the building with them. The explorers then decided to leave that section and decided to explore the upper levels. However, as they were approaching one of the rooms, that's when they made a chilling discovery.
Ich habe so das Gefühl, dass das Ding pleite gegangen ist. Naja, hier sind wir auf jeden Fall.
Sobrang nakatakot yun. Yung hallway.
Okay. Unschwer zu erkennen. Sind wir hier aber auf der Etage mit den Hotelzimmern und hier steht doch tatsächlich noch was drin. Da hätte ich jetzt nicht mit gerechnet. Betten.
Yun, yun na yung mga
Schränke,
kamagas.
das war alles so Einbauschränke.
Magkikatuloy na pan din.
Es riecht so, ne? Du? Es riecht so, ne? Als wäre hier irgendwie noch jemand. Ja, ist auf. Ist auf.
After hearing noises coming from one of the rooms, Felix immediately froze and remained in his position to determine their source. He eventually left the hallway and entered a different room. During this time, he discovered a few empty bottles and noted that the room had a very strange smell. Disturbingly, his friend mentioned that he had also found several garbage bags and more empty bottles in a different room. By this point, they suspected that people might be living inside the building and could be responsible for causing the noises. The explorers then decided to investigate their source and eventually moved towards the room. However, as they
Yun,
were
guys.
approaching the door, that's when they stumbled upon something
Pagka may
truly
tao
disturbing.
dyan. Patay kayo dyan.
Da hat definitiv wer gelebt.
Ja, auch wenn man sich mal diesen Stuhlkreis da anguckt, der ja offen.
Kaya nakalock.
Entweder
May,
ist das hier so
kaya
eine
may
kleine
tao dyan.
Partyhöhle oder eine Crackhöhle.
Baka
wie man das
maano
mal so
kayo
kennt,
dyan,
so.
mabaril.
Naja, hey. Das Haufen Bierflaschen, da haben Leute geschlafen, da sind Müllsäcke aufgehangen, sogar gegrillt wurde da anscheinend.
So riecht's hier auch, finde ich.
Ja.
Hier, finde ich, riecht's verkohlt.
Oh.
Ist da was hinter?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Oh, may tao talaga dyan.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh.
Everything alright?
Mach mal die Kamera weg. English? Can you please? Okay.
Yun guys, may tao talaga guys.
Sorry, just taking photos, okay? Okay, thank you. Ciao. Mein Herz. Mein Herz, das habe ich ja noch nie erlebt.
As soon as the explorers
Yung parang guys, may
approached the
tao
room,
kasi.
a man suddenly appeared out of nowhere and opened the door. Startled by his presence, the
Muntik na
explorers
lang galit,
immediately
baka
began
dinala ka dyan.
apologizing. However, after their brief exchange, the man aggressively shut the door and went back to the room. After this chilling encounter, the explorers immediately left that hallway and started walking in the opposite direction. To make matters even more disturbing, the explorers later mentioned that the man was most likely a homeless individual who appeared to be intoxicated. When the individual opened the door, the explorers noticed that the man had dilated eyes and also spotted illegal substances lying on the side of the table. By this point, the explorers had lost interest in exploring or investigating the building further. As a result, they ultimately decided to end their exploration,
Kaya
and they
bawat
managed to
kasante
make it
guys,
out of the
mag-ingat
building
talaga
without any
kami.
harm. Nevertheless, the explorers were extremely fortunate that day
Yun,
that the
makakonti
individual
naman kami
wasn't
ng
aggressive
ganyan,
or
so
hostile towards them, as
ingat
encounters
lang.
of this nature often end with explorers being harassed or even attacked by people with sinister intentions.
So guys, hanggang dito na lang go. Dito na lang ating panood na mga ghost hunter na naka-encounter ng hindi mabuti. Mayroon silang encounter ng mga yung gano'n nga mga homeless, yung mga tao ba dyan o mga galit nga espiritu na ayaw nilang makadisturbo ng mga tao. So guys, salamat sa panood. Please subscribe me para sa Pining Ghost Adventure at notes pala. Sorry. So yun lang guys.